Everybody, how y'all doing today? Got a question for you. What is the best saw? Best handheld folding saw? You can stir up a whole rabbit hole with this stuff. People out there who like a certain saw and everything else is junk, if you say anything different, they totally disagree. We're kind of gonna run with that scenario, but we're not gonna be dogmatic. Is your favorite saw the little Bahco Laplander? You know, as Dave Canterbury would say, this is his favorite saw in a survival situation. A lot of people really love the Corona Razor Tooth saw. Really good saw. And there are some saw snobs out there that say if you do not have a Silky Gomboy saw, you don't know what you're doing. We're gonna take a look at all these saws and some others, and we're gonna come up with a conclusion. What is the best saw, or is there a best saw? Do you have to spend 40, 50, 60 bucks to get a good saw? You do just as good with a little budget saw. Yeah, we're gonna cover all that, you know. Y'all stay tuned, I think. Yeah. We might end up ruffling a few feathers. I'm gonna get back up out of here. Here's the video right now. I've decided something. I am going to record this video over the period of the next couple of, maybe 3 days, depending on how long it is. I'm not going to rush through it. I'm going to take my time. We're going to develop a real good opinion of the subject with proof, handling, and actually, doing stuff. I will say one thing, that I'm not an expert at really any of this stuff. I really love doing this stuff. I love getting a big old honking knife and a saw and having fun. I can say that the feller or fellerette, whatever, does this, discusses this and talks about this, and they're like, this is the best saw ever made. And it don't have any scratches on the blades, and there ain't no wood pulp stuck in the teeth, or, the labels on the blades are still sharp and brand new. You got to use your stuff before you can form a good opinion. America, baby. Just simply regurgitating everything you hear because you saw somebody else use it online, that don't mean nothing. You might have smaller hands, bigger hands. You might have longer reach, shorter reach. There's a lot of things going. It might be what you're doing. Or are you just simply going out with a family camping and you want to cut up campfire? Are you building a survival shelter? Are you, whatever you're doing, get out there and do it. What saw do you need for what you're doing? I would suggest if you're building a bushcraft survival kind of get out in the woods thing, or a bug out bag, get home bag, and you want to put a saw in it, whatever, and you don't have anything yet, and you have a budget, should you spend like $65, $70 on something like this little Japanese Suizan saw, or 45, 50 bucks on a Silky Gomboy? Y'all know for like 25, 30-ish dollars, you can get the Corona Razor Tooth. Really good saw. Or is it possible, just possible, you can get by and do what you need to do with this little Black & Decker saw? I found this at the Family Dollar store for $5, not $5.99, not $4.99, not $5.20, $5. Dollar sign with the number 5. $5. I got several other saws that fall into the category of $5 or $10. We'll be talking about them too. I got my oldest saw, my most used saw, my tried and trusty true companion for like 15 years. It's an old Trooper. I was telling you about people that show you stuff that's brand new and ain't really ever been used and stuff. Yeah, I can tell you everything you need to know. That's not rust, that's actually mud. Long story. But I can tell you everything you need to know about this saw, because there's no telling how many hundreds of hours I've had this thing in my hand. And my next used saw is the Corona Razor Tooth. It's a fantastic saw. I've used it quite a bit. It don't have quite the roughness that the Trooper has on it, but it's a darn good saw, you know. That's what I'm saying. You know, there's a lot of different options and varieties out there. I sharpen my saws. We'll go over that later. I might make a video showing you how to sharpen a saw. Whatever y'all want. Y'all got to use the comments. Let me know. Another interesting budget saw. Nice little compact saw. Yep. And this one came from, I think it came from Tractor Supply. I bought a couple of them here a while back. And just took this one out of the packaging a while ago. And the other one is in one of my totes in the top of the loft up here. And I ain't digging it out. So y'all just want to trust me when I say I've tried them out. I'll tell you about it. And about 3 or 4 years ago, I kept hearing all this silky this, silky that, silky this, silky that, silky this. I am familiar with silky. I've done some log and tree work. Not a lot. A good, more than most people. But most of my wife's kin folks are all loggers and tree guys. These are men. Yeah. The ones whose forearms are the size of my thighs. Almost every one of them have a silky saw hanging off their belt when they go up a tree. And there's multiple reasons. You know, you might need to reach out yonder, and you reach out yonder with a big steel, you know, with a 24-inch bar, and you better be Popeye, you know, so you can whip out a saw. And brings me my second point, or my whatever number point this is. America, never forget it, baby. Links to the saw. Links to the saw. What length should a saw be? Totally up to you. It's totally up to what you're doing. It's just like, should I have a fine tooth saw, medium tooth saw, coarse tooth saw, blah, 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 blah. Should it be this long, that long? It's what you need. I'm telling you guys, this is my most used saw. I use this thing for years for everything. I use it around the house for like trimming all this kind of stuff up and keeping it back off of my shop, you know, and all that kind of thing. I used a ton for trimming shooting lanes on our hunting property. But I tell you, you know, when you use it, can't drop that in your back pocket. Yeah, it's awesome saw. But I wanted something just a little more compact, not quite such a big footprint, you know. And so I ordered my first silky saw, and I got like the shortest one they sold because I want it to be packable. I want it to be small, and it too worked you to death. So I donated that to the wife and her rose bush maintenance thing. I ordered this Silky Gomboy. Well, there was another one between, but anyway, and it's the 240 millimeter saw, and in my opinion, it's the perfect all-around saw. I've got a buddy, he's got a 170, and it's a pretty good saw. And a lot has to do, you know, like I was saying, you got so many options. You got coarse teeth, fine teeth. This one's medium. You get the kind of the best of both worlds. He's got the 170 and hits a coarse tooth, but again, he can't get the amount of stroke I can get. But you get a lot more per stroke, a lot deeper cut per stroke, but this one's still a lot faster. Buddy, what's up? What's up, buddy? What's up, buddy? Come see Papa. Yeah, look at that face. Ain't you gorgeous? I had Coco out here a few minutes ago, and her and him wasn't getting along real good because, hey, she's jealous and he's jealous, and so I bring him out, play with him. You know, he runs around the yard while I'm doing stuff, and then I play with him some more. Then I put him in, and I go get Coco. You know, they have to take shifts. The subject. Now, stepping up to the silky, yes, a little bit more increase in price, but the bang for what you get, Silky is the bomb. I will tell you that. And they're not that expensive, but yeah, carrying on. Mention, I don't know if I mentioned or not. I'm gonna mention it now. David Canterbury is really big in the bushcraft survival, you know. And you guys probably know who David Canterbury is. Killer YouTube channel. I used to love watching him and Cody Lundeen dual survival. You know, the barefooted guy from Arizona that would go to Antarctica with no shoes on, and Canterbury would almost have to tote him around. Dave Canterbury, his favorite saw is the Bahco Laplander. And this saw, it comes with a little Bahco knife. It's a Mora companion, but it's got the Bahco branding on it. I guess Mora makes them for them. I don't know. Some little saws. It kind of gives you that compromise between packability, because it's a small saw, super duper lightweight, and the blade length is adequate. I don't remember what the blade length is. It's about that long. Much shorter than the Silky. If I got my choices, I'd rather have a minimum like 210, 240 millimeter, but you know, the sky's the limit. You can get these things all kind of configurations. But if you want a really good saw, and I hate to say this because it almost sounds like, I hate hearing people say, oh, for the money. This is a good saw. It don't matter what the money is he's spending. If this saw was 80 bucks, it's a good saw. But this saw with a little Mora companion-ish knife, I think I gave like 30 bucks for it. And don't hold me to it, but I think now you can go on Amazon, you can get like just the knife for like $25. Man, it smells good out here. Got a bunch of honeysuckles and whatever these are. I'll just turn the camera. There we go. That stuff. It smells good. It's about to rain, so I'll probably be moving this in a minute. Matter of fact, I feel some sprinkles now. Yep. I have to whip out the windshield wipers for the glasses. What does all this mean? Well, like I say, I'm going to step this thing inside in a minute because it's starting to rain on me. But first, I'm going to show you something. Let me show y'all something right here. This is called a tree. And if you never use your stuff, you don't really have no need to know that. All this undergrowth in here is about to come out. All the little sapling crap, because it's choking out all my oak trees, and I got 6 black walnuts over here, and I want to get some light to the ground so I can feed the wildlife, deers and everything. So you know, one of these days I might need them to feed me. So see that right here, watch. This is the Silky Gomboy, and I just picked it because I got to cut the top off this, and then I'm going to make several cuts with different saws to show you something and to prove a point. Ready? Whoop, there it is. Y'all might have noticed it was a sapling, but it's about yay big around, probably close to 4 inches, and how fast that Gomboy went through it. Watch this. And now I'm going to show y'all the Suzanne folding saw. This is the most expensive saw I own, and it's right there with a Silky. It's just a few dollars more, like 10 bucks more than a Silky. But watch this. Make sure I'm in frame here. Y'all ready? Watch. Here we go. Ah, poo-poo. Whoop, there it is. And now for this one, the Corona Razor Tooth. And I'll be honest, I really dig this saw. I think like $24 or something. I remember if I got this at Lowe's or where it came from, but anywho, make sure I still got enough. Yeah, Here we go. You know, whoop, there it is. And now the simple little Bahco Laplander, Dave Canterbury's favoriteest saw in the world. One thing about this, I would tie me some reflective paracord or something on here if I was gonna put it in a bug out bag or something like that, because if you drop this booger over here in the woods, she gone. Now the Bahco Laplander. Yep. I'm not going to do it. Yep. Whoop, there it is. Some of you are probably going to say, oh, man, it took him 8 extra strokes and so much longer to cut it with the Laplander. Well, it's a smaller saw. I mean, it's a small, easily stowable saw. Like, I always wear cargo pants, and I can drop that in my side pocket, and it completely disappears. It's a great saw. But if you're working, like, let's say you take your kids out and you want to build a survival shelter, a little log cabin in the woods and have fun, you're going to spend a lot more calories and energy with this than you will like the Silky. Now, if you get a Silky that's 170 millimeters short one, you're gonna kind of almost be even. Now, for the Black & Decker, $5 at the Family Dollar. Yeah, we're learning something here. Yeah, that's very interesting. All right. This is probably the biggest thing I've ever cut on one of these. It's cutting, but man, you better have a grocery store with you to replace the calories you're going to spend with this knife. Excuse me, this saw. I cut on that thing, finally got it cut off, but it took a few minutes, and that kind of surprised me. I've used that, well, I got 2 of those saws. I used one of them on cutting, you know, little tree limbs, little bitty limbs off of stuff and everything, and it seemed to be pretty decent. I get it out here and do a head-to-head, and even at $5, when I was cutting with it, you might have heard 4th or 5th little stroke. You could hear that was the handle. Yeah, it's raining on me pretty good now, so let's step in the shop and have a talk. I'll admit, guys, we're starting to get a little heavy drizzle. You might hear it start hitting the roof here in a minute if it gets any harder. I'll admit, I was very surprised. This saw, I mean, first, it's a $5 saw, you know, but I expected more out of it than that, because I'm gonna set my tripod back up. This one right here, this is one I got from Tractor Supply, and I bought 2 of them. And the reason I bought these saws, to be honest, is if the wife, kids, somebody needs a little handsaw, I leave these hanging beside the door, and they use these, and they'll leave my other ones alone. Yeah, because they'll leave them laying outside and stuff. You know? I know this one will cut through stuff the size I was cutting, and if it wasn't raining right now, I don't want to get soaking wet to do a 5-minute section of a video, but I'll take it out there and show you. I know it'll do it, but it's not as efficient as the other saws I just showed you. But the Black & Decker, that one really disappointed me. And yeah, it kind of surprised me. Because see, what I like to do with my channel, I like to check all this stuff out and spend some time with it. Like I say, I've gone through the woods with this and cut, little finger and thumb size tree limbs off, had no problem. But yeah, this one right here, when you get into anything over like 2 inches, yeah, it's a turd. I won't say it's a turd. It cuts. I'm gonna keep it and leave it beside the door over there. When the wife or kids might need something to cut a little twig off a tree, But it brings me to my conclusions that this is it worth the money if you're cutting little tiny stuff and everything? I'll leave that up to you. I wouldn't buy another one. A real cheap saw, something that maybe, I gotta trim this and that, something you don't plan to keep a long time. Well, it might last a long time. I don't know. Proof's in the pudding. Go to Tractor Supply and get you one of these little gray saws. It's called the Garden Spot or the Garden something. It's a whole heck of a lot better. I'm sitting here thinking about dropping that Black & Decker in the trash can. You don't have a ton of money you want to spend. I would say in the $20 to $25 range. Yeah, the Corona Razor Tooth, you can't touch it. There's nothing. I don't think there's anything on the market that even comes close under $35, except the Bahco Laplander. So I would settle with. I would go something like this. If you're building out a backpack, you want to get into bushcrafting or some kind of survival training and having fun in the woods and all that kind of stuff. I mean, either one of those will be a jam up choice. The Bahco Laplander, jam up, jelly tight. So is the Corona Razor Tooth. I was going to take the Trooper over. I should have taken the Trooper over to show you guys. But the reason being, I don't even know if they still make that model saw again. So I don't want to tell y'all something y'all go out looking for on, and oh, stupid cornbread, you don't know what he's talking about. If you want a good saw, and I don't know, these things might be the most expensive of all. I don't know. I've had this thing a long time. They're really good saws, and I would go after 10, 12-inch logs without a fault with it. But the stars of this show right now, and it's because the Trooper's right there with it, but like I say, I don't know if they even still sell that thing or not. Actual cutting over there, and I went over there and I practiced. I went through all of them a couple of times before I filmed it, because you look like a total moron. But the Suizan is a cutter, buddy. I mean, she'll flat eat through it. Is it better than the Silky? I don't think so. I haven't used this one. This is like my third or fourth time out with it. I did 3 cuts with it over there a little while ago, and you've seen one of them. And it's right there with the Silky, but the feel, the ergonomics of it and everything, and it's super nicely made, very precision, very close tolerances and everything. Opens and closes like it's on, something when it's like got bearings in it and you open it, it's kind of tight, but it's real smooth. That's what this feels like. But I'm trying to remember. I could probably look it up, but I think this one was, the Suizan was like $10 more than the Silky. And with that in mind, yep, I'm gonna say it. The Silky Gone Boy is still the king of the hill in my book. It's just, it has that same precision kind of feel. The construction of it is just jam up. There's no popping and cracking when you're using it. It opens and closes easy. They stay sharp forever. I have not sharpened this one yet. And sharpening one of these saws is a tedious, time-consuming job. Any saw. And let me also bring up something else. All these other saws, you can buy the Suizan with really nice leather sheaths that go in and everything, but it with the sheath is almost double what just the saw is. So I bought mine with like a little plastic slip. I'll show you now. Thick, you know, I mean, it's not gonna fall apart with you, but it's not something you want to take in the woods. If you're gonna put it in here and hang it on a nail in your shop or something, it's fine. But that's another reason the Silky is king of the hill. This is what my Silky came in, minus all the stuff attached to it. The clear part, and it's got a snap right here and a snap up here. So when you close it, hold on, you close it, it is double closed. I didn't snap it. It's double closed. One good thing about this is this thing right here, you can put the saw in there and you got enough room left inside this. You could put some survival items and make this a complete little mini survival kit. It's just a clear tube with a double snap. That's all it comes with. It's a little leather thing. I made that. It's just a tube. The thing, it'll slide down in there. It won't go any further than what it is right now because all these knots. And it has a little belt loop thing right here, so you can put it on your side and carry it through the woods. And I keep, you know me, I keep stuff in it. Keep the blue paracord on there because, you know, as I've said before, nothing in the woods is blue. And then these little battery-powered light sticks. I'll end this video. I'll take these outside and hang them up in the tree and turn them on so you can see they don't look very impressive right now, but you can change the batteries in them, of course, and they got little carabiners on top. And right now, I just bought 2 more packs of these. That gives me a total of, I think 12 light sticks. They're all blue and yellow, or excuse me, blue and red. And right now, they're at Tractor Supply on clearance, and you get a 3-pack for $1. So I'm probably gonna go get a couple more packs because if they're on clearance, that means you're probably never gonna see them again. There's what they look like. They're really bright when you get them out here, and my camera light's on too. So let's look at it without the camera light. Yep, them things down in the woods they glow up bright. And the batteries so far seem to last forever. I've had them hanging out here about 2 hours, and yeah, there's that. And then zip ties, and I keep orange duct tape on everything. Orange visibility, you know the drill. Duct tape, you might need to patch something, might need to fix something. It helps you build fires, etc., etc. And of course, Ranger bands. And I got 1 zip tie and 1 Ranger band on here. And the reason being, I don't want, you know, when you're walking through the woods, if this gets hung on a little twig or a little tree limb or something, I don't want it to jerk them off. A Ranger band is basically, it's bicycle inner tube, and it's elastic and it'll stretch. So if you got that on the bottom, it might stretch it and your stuff fall out. Anywho, this is another reason right here that the Silky Gone Boy is king of the hill, and none of the other saws I have ever found remotely comes close. Now let me clarify, all right? Am I saying the Silky is the best saw out there? Of the saws I have here, and I got 3 or 4 more up there in a bin, yeah, it's the best saw I've got. Have I tried every saw ever made? No. Can you get really good functional saws cheaper? Yeah. Should you buy a Black & Decker for $5 at the Family Dollar? No. I was just trying to think back. I don't think I've ever had anything on the channel that I just absolutely hated. I hate that Black & Decker. It's interesting. I hate that Black & Decker about that much. Before you say, oh, why'd you throw away a branch? Somebody might have wanted that saw, could have used that saw. If you need and want a saw that bad, let me know. We'll figure out a way to get you a saw. Don't waste your time on that one. If you're cutting it and the handle pops and cracks and breaks on you, you wind up with 88,612 stitches in your hand, it ain't gonna be my fault. I'll tell you this, I just got down. I got up there in my other saws. I made these little things, and don't laugh. They're not made to be pretty. They're kind of like the thing I put around the Silky, and you can put these, drop your knife in here, and I just happened to look, and this one came off another El Cheapo saw. That's a really good saw. If y'all want to know about that one, let me know, and I'll dig it out, and we'll do a little 2-minute review on it or something. But I got a pleasant surprise. It fits the Bahco Laplander perfectly. So you got a belt sheath for your Bahco. This one, yeah, this one had the other tractor supply in there. It fits perfect for the Suizon. I wonder if the Gomboy, let's see if the Silky will fit in this one too. Well, the Silky fits it great too. So that brings another point up. You know, the Silky has this freaking awesome container I was showing you guys that it stays in, and I've turned it into a belt carry. Well, it's the same thing as this is. If you buy a Laplander or another saw that don't have that, all you need is a little piece of leather. Poke some holes in it. It ain't got to be pretty. And just make you a little slip for it. This one, I put a little bottom loop on it because the way the saw's made and the blade sticks out, to get it in there, it has to be that kind of shape, and it'll fall straight through. So I put that one on there and sewed it in. But yeah, I'm not gonna leave this in here. Well, I might. I don't know. Let me think. I'm gonna leave the Suizon in there, and I'm gonna do some more work with this. It's still fairly new. It's very impressive. But if it were me, should you pay? Let's go see how much that costs. That's interesting. Hold the presses. I'm glad I made this video. First, I found out the Black & Decker is a turd. Now, the Suizon, I know for a fact, when I ordered the Suizon, it was more expensive than the Gomboy. And because I debated on whether to order it, the Silky Gomboy. I debated on whether to order it, and I put it off a while, and I ordered it. All right. I just looked this thing up, and you're going to be amazed. All right, here it is. The one I have, 210 millimeters. And hold on. 2480, folks. I cannot believe that. This thing is like less than half, and it's not on sale. It's less than half of what I paid for it. That means something totally new. I'm completely shell-shocked. I can't believe that. Now, this is a saw that's $24.80. That is right there with the Silky Gomboy, the 270 millimeter. It's 60 millimeters shorter, you know. But holy cow. Kind of makes me wonder if I shouldn't get another one. All right, I'm gonna say this: the Suizon saw is super impressive. All right, but the Silky is time tested. They've been around forever. 1,000,005,000 people own them, are happy with them. They have made a ton of sawdust. So I think the true measure here, the Suizon, what is the longevity of it? How long does it last? Is it going to fall apart after 2 or 3 projects? Is it going to get you in the woods and fail just because it feels good and it cuts awesome? I said, it cuts right there. It's about the same as the Silky, you know. That's interesting. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to do a follow-up video. And I'm going to go and we're going to take these things and I'm going to put them both to the test. All right. We know what the Trooper is. We know what the Bahco Laplander is. And we know what the Corona Razor Tooth is. All those. I'm going to pit the Suizon and the Silky against each other. And now the Silky does still have the cool container it stores in and everything. But we're talking about just the saw. And we're going to see how well the Suizon stands up. If the Suizon is the saw that the Silky is, as far as lasting and staying together and everything, at $24, $28, what was it? Y'all remember? I will look back. But at that price, if it will stand up, it might be the saw to own. I mean, I'm going to get rid of my Silky because, like I say, I know what it is. But if you're somebody that's wanting to get started and you want the best quality saw you can get, and let's say you don't own anything, you're starting from scratch. You got to build your fire kit, your water kit. You got to get you a knife. And you can't splurge a whole bunch on the saw. And this saw is $24.80. Yeah, that's a no-brainer. All right, I've decided I'm going to do some searching on Amazon because that's everybody's favorite shopping platform. And the saws that I've had right here, I'm going to look them up, and I'm going to put them on this video right here in case you're interested, and we'll continue. I'm going to do this quickly because this video is getting kind of long. Okay, the Venerable Bahco Laplander, totally awesome saw, $25. The Corona Razor Tooth, I go to battle with this thing any day, $26.02. The King of the Hill and still undisputed champion, $57.99 for the Silky Gone Boy. Or $7 more, you can get it in the most awesome color ever invented, God's color, for a mere $7 more at $64.99. And I've been looking really hard at the Outback Edition. The coating is supposed to be made for outdoor. It's supposed to be a better saw at $78, but I don't know. I don't know what could be better about it to warrant a $23 price increase over the Gone Boy. If any of you guys own the Outback Edition, how about chiming in? Let me know what you think about it, and if you think it's better than the Gone Boy. We'll see. Okay, let me interrupt my rundown here just a second. If you guys have watched my channel much at all, you know how much I love Fiskars products. I will go on record as saying the Fiskars X7 hatchet is one of the best hatchets ever built. I don't care Hulta 4's this and I am I got a bunch of American-made hatchets and axes. But the Fiskars, for the money, yeah, but it's just a killer axe or hatchet. And the handle's solid or hollow. Oh, Lord. The handle is hollow, and I make little survival kits and fishing kits and wrap them in wax canvas and stick them up in the handle. Something else to think about. But anywho, I have a splitting axe out here that I bought years ago when Fiskars, I think it's about the time that they introduced the splitting axe. And yeah, gosh, there's no telling how many cords of wood I've cut with that. And I know there's gonna be some axe and hatchet guys in here that hate my guts because I like this thing from Finland. You know, the truth's the truth. And you know, why I go spend $250 to $300 for a fancy axe built by some guy in his little forging area with a very beard playing Viking music when you can get the best splitting axe ever made for $60? I know that. The Fiskars stuff. You gonna guess what I run across when I was doing this price comparison thing? Yep. Fiskars has a folding saw for $19.74. Yeah. Alright, now I have spent a few minutes reading all the specs and everything on this Fiskars saw. It's the Power Tooth Razor Sharp Blade, 10-inch blade. And look at the handle and how the handle is in relation to the blade. If you remember the knife that Jed Hornbeak made for me, the way the blade was shaped and the handle comes off, vibration and things, I'll get into that in just a second. The total thing open is 21 inches, which is right there. It's almost the exact same size as the Gone Boy I have. And look at this next picture. It has, you can push the button in and lock it into an undercut. That is big. You know, when you're cutting something and you get halfway through it and it starts pinching your blade, you can do it just like felling a tree and put a cut at the bottom and then go to the top, and it'll allow the branch to open up instead of close together, and it don't pinch your blade. So you know what? Buy now. Place your order. Order placed. Dang, Skippy, brother. We got another one to throw into the melee, folks. All right. So now I have a Fisker saw coming. See, I was thinking about ordering another one of the Suzons, but for just $10 cheaper, I'm getting a Fiskars. Did I say Fiskars? I'm talking about work. Now, if the Suzon stands up over a period of, a couple of trips to the woods, a couple of projects, and I'm going to be using it right beside it. I'll make one cut with the Suzon, the next cut with the Silky, back and forth, back and forth. And if it stands up, and one big one is the blade sharpness, and if it doesn't dull out real fast or something, the Gombo is still gonna be my favorite. Okay, just because it's time tested, it's tested with me, and there's no need to fix something that's darn near perfect. But if the Suzon stays with it, that might be the best non-silky saw on the market at $24. I'm going to be doing some testing with the Fiskars because I love Fiskars products. I have a pair of Fiskars scissors that I cut leather with. I love Fiskars stuff. It's budget oriented, but at the same time, it's some of the best stuff made. It's all going to be the same? I don't know. I've never used a Fiskars saw, but we will. We get off on all these tangents, folks. The purpose of me doing this stuff, I'm not going to become a quote-unquote saw-only channel. If you see my eyes, they're getting kind of... But I'll tell you why in a minute. But I'm not going to be a saw-only channel. I like to do all kinds of stuff. I'm not a knife-only channel. I'm not a gun-only channel. I'm not... Maybe I need to be a Rogaine testing channel. I digress. What you guys see is what I'm doing. I don't say, hey, what can I do? What can I buy to make a video? Or what can I, that's like my vlog stuff that I need to get back on, because I got 3 basically episodes already filmed that I hadn't released yet. But I'm pressure washing the house. If I'm planting a garden, starting my homesteading thing, building a chicken coop, that's what I film. I love saws. I love knives. I love getting outdoors. I love going out in the woods and camp. I love just going out in the woods and cut a piece of wood off and start whittling, Maybe I'm weird. Am I? Well, I know I'm kind of weird. I've been told I'm weird, but that's just me. I don't stage this stuff. I don't do things to, I didn't just do that whole dramatic Fiskars thing. I was making a video and found out while I was making the video, I was like, whoa. You can win this knife. I'm going to give it away. And the way I'm going to give it away is I have a channel that I'm trying to support. The guy who has this channel supports the entire community. He's there for everybody, myself included. Super nice guy, man. Just ridiculously nice guy. And all you have to do to win this is go to his channel, subscribe to his channel, give him a like, and comment on a video. The video you need to comment on will be in the first pinned comment on this video. All right. Now, I said when this guy reaches 1,000 subscribers, I'm going to do the giveaway. All right. Thank you guys for sticking around with me. I appreciate it. Like I said, this video is going to be a whole lot longer, but I decided to cut it, and I'm going to use the other half. It's a what's happening on the channel kind of thing and what's coming up. And it'll be coming out shortly. But I'm going to get this one out there. I want to get Big Jim as many subscribers and comments and help him grow his channel as much as I can. So I'm going to get this one out there. Appreciate y'all sticking around. We learned a lot. about the saws. You know, if you got a limited budget, you can still get saws that are fantastic. The big thing is, just like anything, get out there and do it. You know, Morris Kohansky, I'm a huge Morris Kohansky fan. He has an instruction sheet, and you make a tri-stick with all kind of different cuts in there. And I've talked about tri-stick before, and I was like, man, if you guys will just send me an email, I'll send you a paper with how to do the tri. We're going to do something like that, but it's going to be a lot easier than me mailing a bunch of stuff out, because I can't keep up with all that. The reason for that tri-stick is simple. There are cuts and things you learn when you're learning to manipulate a knife and how to make things. All these things just look like a stick full of all kind of weird cuts. But all those cuts mean something. Those cuts are for building up to 18 different snares, animal traps, different things like that, building shelters, all kinds of stuff. So it's not just whittling on a stick. Get out there and do this stuff. It's just like the tri-stick. You know, you're not doing this just to whittle. You're practicing skills. If you have saws, if you have bug out bags, and you have survival gear and all this thing, and you never mess with it, you almost as soon not have it. Reason being, when the time comes you need it or you want to use it, you know, you can't just sit down and, you know, and read instructions at the time. You need to kind of already be practiced up on how to do it, you know, how to manipulate things and how to make things work, you know, and practice. I've heard a pretty popular YouTuber make the statement that, you know, the future and planning and being prepared is in the gear. And all these bushcraft people and whatnot, if you think you're going into the woods to survive, you're crazy. Well, you know what? It ain't about that. That's not why you do this stuff. I mean, yeah, you might need to survive in the wilderness, you know. I mean, things can happen. But the main reason you practice bushcraft skills, tying knots, all this kind of thing, is to practice the skills. It's not to build a shelter to survive the rest of your life in a weekend with your buddies or your kids or your wife or your brother or your sister, whoever it is. And you do these things because it's fun, and you develop skills. You learn how different things work, how two pieces of wood, you know, when you put them together with a piece of paracord, maybe you notch it a certain way and all, how it goes together, and you're getting skills from that. Is a basement slam full of gear with no know-how ain't getting you a lot. I appreciate y'all watching. This video was going to be about twice this long. I've already got it recorded and in the editor, and I was looking at it and I said, well, I'm going to cut it off, and I cut it off right here. The rest of it is going to be what's coming up on the channel, projects I have going on, explaining all that stuff, what you guys have to look forward to seeing if y'all want to see it. That'll be in the next video. This one's already a lot longer than I thought it was going to be, so yeah, we're gonna leave it right there until I get to see y'all again, or y'all get to see me again, or how that goes. Hope y'all have a great week. I hope y'all have a great week, a great whatever. And until next time, peace and God bless. We on the side.